I'm going to start by completing a customer onboarding process for an insurance policy. We'll then fast forward into managing an associated claim for that policy. And lastly, we'll see how we can leverage OpenText AI capabilities to gain insights from documents stored within both a claim and an opportunity within Salesforce. And these insights will provide an overview of the submitted claim and help drive opportunities for selling additional insurance products. And I'll begin by taking the role of an insurance professional named Nick Wheeler, who is currently onboarding his customer, Paul Bailey, for a car insurance policy at Innovate Insurance. Nick will log into Salesforce, he'll navigate to the insurance agent console and bring up Paul Bailey's account. And as we can see, Paul currently has an auto policy being created for him. So I'm going to click on that auto policy, and here I can view the details of that insurance policy from within Salesforce. Or if I click on this Documents tab, we're going to see our first look at the business workspace, which is being managed within OpenText Core Content. And for the audience members who are unfamiliar with Core Content is OpenText's multi-tenant SaaS solution, which brings content management to the cloud. And through a productized integration with Salesforce, we are able to surface OpenText's rich document and content management features directly into Salesforce. The business workspace itself gets created within Core Content when the corresponding business object is created within Salesforce. That can be an account, it can be an opportunity, it can be a claim, or in this case, it is a policy. So those business objects are created in Salesforce. We automatically create the corresponding business workspace within Core Content, and there are many advantages to this approach. First and foremost, we automatically create a folder structure based on a predefined template for that business object. And this means that your end users would not have to go in and create folder structures arbitrarily. They would not create records management policies. We would define that for you based on that template. So we would therefore standardize your folder hierarchy across each of those different business objects. We also extend capabilities such as our metadata browsing directly into Salesforce. So from the business workspace, I can filter out the type of content I wish to consume based on the creator, the item type, the content type, or the actual document type. So if I select my contract, my policy, and a welcome kit, you'll see on the right-hand side, we have a result set that is now displayed or presented to the end user. And we can display alternate views of that result set as well. So this is, again, based off of your end user's preferences. But in this case, I wish to see an overview, perhaps the first thumbnail within each of those different documents. What we also see here is a little green icon on each of those records. And this icon represents records management policies that have been defined for each of those different records as we collect those. So in this case, we have a car insurance policy, which has a 10-year retention associated to it. So within at the 10-year mark, that record would be up for disposition and actioned accordingly. We also provide the ability to apply holds to those records. So if there is a need to assign holds to your different records within the business workspace, we are also servicing that capability directly into the business workspace. As part of the onboarding process, Nick may wish to create an agreement to send to Paul. So I'm going to clear out my filters and change my view back to list, and go into our Contracts and Agreements folder. And from here, I'm going to simply drag and drop a document from my desktop into the business workspace. So any channel which you wish to use to ingest content can be performed, as well as manually dragging and dropping or using the function menu to add a new document into that business workspace. So at this point, I need to classify the type of document that I'm creating. It's an agreement. I go through the wizard, click on Continue, and I am asked to tag that document with the type of agreement that it is. So in this case, it's a confidentiality agreement. I select confidentiality as the agreement type and click on the upload button. So as you can see, the document is now created in that folder of the business workspace, and we're automatically assigning that retention policy that's defined for agreements to that document. So Nick may wish to edit that document prior to sending it out to Paul, and he may wish to do it in collaboration or to co-author that document with another insurance professional. So OpenText has incorporated the ability into our product to seamlessly edit Microsoft Office documents directly from core content, and we're extending that capability into Salesforce. So if I needed to work on, again, co-author the document with a team member, we can both do so without having to download that document to our desktop, working in the native application. This is all done through the browser harnessing the power of Microsoft 365. So I'm going to change a date here and save that document back into core content simply by closing that browser tab. If I were to go ahead and take a look at the versions of that document, we'll see that a brand new version was added by Nick Wheeler moments ago. So we retain all of those different versions of the document as well as a full audit trail, but we also provide the ability to compare versions. So if insurance professional needed to compare version 1 and 2 of the document, we can do so using our inline viewer. So directly from that version tab, we can see the differences between both the latest version and the prior versions. So here we can see that June 11th is now visible on version 2, but it was not apparent or was not there in version 1. It is important to note that all of the objects, the folders, the documents have a permission model associated to them. This, of course, restricts access to individuals which are required to be able to read or write or add versions, delete the content, etc. So clicking on the car insurance contract, I'm just going to view the permissions that have been assigned to this document. And of course, the permission models can be inherited down from folders or based off of different record types. So here we see that Nick Wheeler has full control of this document, and the group permissions for our relationship managers is write access. Clicking on the write access URL, it brings me an option to change that permission that's been associated for this particular group. So as you can see, we have 9 levels of permissions for documents, and they've been summarized by read, write, and full control. So again, we're protecting the information that's being collected. We're extending the permission model that comes with core content directly into Salesforce so that end users will only be permitted to be able to see and read information, write information based on their role groups or their permissions that have been defined within that business workspace. And lastly, we have an upcoming task to send that car insurance policy to Nick Wheeler. So directly from within the business workspace, surface through Salesforce, I'm going to send this document for signature using our core signature solution directly integrated with core content. And here I can indicate who needs to sign that document. So in this case, we're going to identify Paul Bailey as a signee on that document, and I'm going to indicate where Paul needs to sign. So I'll select myself and others, and here we will indicate that Paul needs to sign, And of course, I can indicate the date, so I can pre-fill the date in which Paul signed that document. As well, Nick, being the insurance specialist, needs to sign that document, so we're going to create an area for Nick to go ahead and sign. And lastly, I'll indicate the date as well. And click on Save. Now, we can have a signing order as well indicating here, so I can have myself being the first person to sign and Paul being the second. So there's a underpinning workflow process associated to that signing process. And I go ahead and click on Sign and Send. So what will happen now is Core Signature will generate that document for me. For signature, I go ahead, navigate down to the location in which I wish to sign. Use my digital signature. I could also type or draw my signature and indicate the date as well. So I can indicate, in this case, June 11th, 2024. Insert that, go ahead and finalize that document, and it would now be sent over to Paul for his signature. So now that we've sent that document for signature, Paul is now onboarded as a customer of Innovate Insurance. We're going to fast forward a couple of months, and unfortunately Paul was involved in a very minor vehicle collision. So I'm going to continue my role as Nick Wheeler. I'm the insurance professional. I need to ramp up on this case or this claim. So directly from within Salesforce, I'm going to bring up the Workspace view once again and click on this Related Workspaces icon here. So when we create those business workspaces within Core Content, we're also managing the network of related business workspaces. That could be to the account, or in this case, to the claim. So no matter where I'm accessing Core Content from, I can access all of those different business objects, provided, of course, I have the permissions to do so. So within this claim, I'm going to bring up Content Aviator, our conversational search capability that we're providing to the agents. And I'm going to ask some questions associated to this claim. For one, what is the reason for this claim? So Content Aviator will curate all the information within this workspace, all that unstructured data, and send me a response back to the agent indicating that this claim is related to a collision, vehicle collision. Okay, I'm going to further ask Aviator to summarize the accident for me. Content Aviator will respond indicating that on May 22nd, Paul was involved in a minor vehicle collision with his GMC Yukon, and some additional information. But I really want to know was Paul at fault? So asking Aviator who was at fault, Aviator's going to come back, and the driver of vehicle 1, Paul Bailey, was at fault of the accident. He failed to yield to vehicle 2. So all this information is being extracted from the documents within that workspace, and we're showing the information, the documents, reference to those documents, such as the police report and the vehicle, the witness report. Furthermore, I may have Paul on the phone, and he wishes to know, why is that claim delayed? So we can find that out simply by going into perhaps our standard operating procedure and bringing Aviator up against that particular document. So we're targeting this one document for answers. So we have our standard operating procedure, why are claims perhaps delayed or denied. And I'm going to go ahead and ask Aviator, because I don't have time. I may have Paul on the phone. I may wish to quickly get this information for Paul, enhancing that customer experience. So I'm going to ask Aviator, what are the reasons why Paul's claim could have been delayed? And right away, Aviator is going to come back with a list of reasons that I can inform Paul about, that perhaps your claim is delayed because you don't have complete documentation associated to that claim. Maybe you don't have medical evaluations, etc. So right away, we can communicate to Paul why Paul's claim may be delayed. Now that Paul has the information required to complete his claim submission, it may be a good opportunity for Nick to explore additional opportunities for Paul for insurance products. So directly from our business workspace, we're going to hop over to Paul's account and actually navigate into the network of business workspaces. In this case, we have Paul has also applied for a mortgage application, which is also managed within Salesforce as a new opportunity. So I'm going to hop into that mortgage application and once again bring up Aviator. So we're going to ask Aviator a question about Paul, such as, based on any recent life changes, events for Paul, could you suggest an insurance product? And Aviator once again goes through all that information in the workspace, all those documents, and responds saying that Paul has recently welcomed his newborn son Lucas into the world, and he's in the process of buying a new home. And it would be a good idea to perhaps purchase some life insurance in the unlikely event of his death. So right away we see that Nick has that upsell opportunity, and we can further ask Aviator to write an email for Paul related to this new opportunity. So here we see an email that's been generated by Content Aviator indicating the benefits of exploring a life insurance policy for him and his family. And with this generation, we can copy that and paste it into an email and, of course, send it to Paul.